Let's dive into a powerful, and for some, a pretty challenging idea about what heaven is really all about, and what it means for us right here today.
I mean, truly obsessed. A single all-consuming focus that shapes its entire reality. But what if I also told you that this one thing is something most of us barely even think about?
You might picture this endless concert in the clouds, angels strumming harps, and sure, worship is going to be there, but that's not the main obsession, not even close.
Or maybe you're thinking about the supernatural stuff, the signs, wonders, these incredible displays of power. As amazing as those are, nope, that's not it either. And it's definitely not about just, showing up, being a good person, or ticking off boxes on some religious to-do list. So if it's none of those things, what in the world could it be? So this brings us to the shocking reality, what you might call the great misunderstanding of what heaven is actually like.
Okay, look at this contrast. On one hand, we kind of see heaven as this cosmic retirement community, all about peace, joy, and our personal happiness. But the reality? It's a place of total, absolute alignment. The one dominant driving thought of every single being there is, how do I stay perfectly right with the Father? That's what righteousness is, being in a right standing, a perfect alignment with God.
And get this alignment is absolute. There is zero room for gray areas, no such thing as partial obedience. No, I'll do most of what God says. It isn't about just trying your best or having good intentions. It's a complete, uncompromising devotion to one thing, being right with God. Now, this is where it can get a little uncomfortable for a lot of us, because honestly, our modern culture doesn't really train us for this kind of reality. It tells us to prioritize something totally different.
We've all heard it a million times, right? God just wants you to be happy. Just follow your heart. But the hard truth is, heaven doesn't run on our feelings. It doesn't operate based on our emotional state. It runs on a completely different currency, righteousness. I mean, Jesus himself made this crystal clear. He didn't say, blessed are those who feel really spiritual, or blessed are those who have good vibes. No, he used the language of pure desperation, a hunger, a thirst.
Just think about that for a second. When you're dying of thirst, you don't just admire water. You don't respect food when you're starving. You crave it. You need it. It becomes your singular obsession. That's the level of intensity we're talking about when it comes to righteousness.
So if heaven's obsession is righteousness, well, that completely flips our modern understanding of what divine love actually is. It forces us to totally redefine it. So often, we think of love as just making people feel good, avoiding any kind of conflict, being nice. But divine love? It is so much more powerful. It's about doing whatever is necessary, combining both kindness and justice with one ultimate goal, making someone right with God. And this is just a brilliant illustration of how it works, right from the very beginning of the story. When Adam and Eve sin, God doesn't just do one thing. He lays down justice, he declares the consequences, but then he shows incredible kindness by clothing them in their shame. And then he preserves righteousness by immediately setting a redemption plan in motion. It's all three. And here's the crucial part. Pure justice? It would have just annihilated them on the spot. But pure kindness, with no consequences? Well, that would have just enabled the rebellion to continue. It's the fusion of both that preserves the ultimate goal, which is always righteousness. That is divine love in action.
This smashes head-on into one of the most dangerous lies floating around today. The true love means accepting people exactly as they are, with zero call to change. That isn't divine love. That's just permission to stay broken.
And Jesus modeled this perfectly. To the woman caught in adultery, he showed this immense kindness. Hey, I don't condemn you. But he immediately followed it with justice, a direct command aimed at righteousness. Go and sin no more. See? That's the complete picture. All right, let's bring this all home. Let's make this intensely personal. It's time for the ultimate alignment test.
And this is a simple but really profound question. Don't just gloss over it. Is being right with God something you even think about on a daily basis? Is it the driving force behind your decisions?
Because the real test isn't about our external activities. It's not, do I go to church, or do I believe in God, or do I pray every now and then? The real gut-level test of our alignment with heaven is this: has righteousness become my personal obsession? And this, right here, is why Jesus gave one of the most terrifying warnings in all of Scripture.
He talked about people who were active, who were powerful, who even performed miracles in his name, but whom he would ultimately reject.
So why? Why were they rejected? What was missing? They had the performance down pat. As you see here, they had power, they had activity, they even had miracles. But they lacked the one thing that mattered: righteousness, that genuine heart-level alignment with the Father. You have to remember this. Heaven doesn't reward performance, it recognizes alignment.
So this brings us to the final, critical question for you to really think about. Are you actively preparing for the reality of what heaven is actually like? Or are you just kind of passively assuming that because you're a decent person, you'll just, fit right in? Because if there is one takeaway from all of this, please let it be this. Heaven is not a place you just show up to and then try to adjust. It's a reality you have to prepare for. Right here, right now, by making its one obsession your own.